So, hello everyone. Good evening. Good morning if you're joining from somewhere else. As of now, I think everyone is here. Welcome. All of us are here, obviously, for the obvious reason that we are either going through the perimenopausal stages, or we are in the menopause, or maybe already it has stopped, but you're still experiencing some of the symptoms of menopause. So, I'll just start on a completely different note. All of us are familiar with that Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, correct? Dog, grumpy, bashful, sneezy, sleepy, happy, dopey. Yes? So the seven dwarfs of menopause are itchy, bitchy, sweaty, sleepy, bloated, forgetful, and psycho. I'm sure everyone can relate with maybe one or two of them, hopefully not more. So, yeah, I mean, and this is something which is not particular to certain people or only certain women. Like so many other disorders, this is not a disorder. This is a condition which we slowly navigate into in our lives. All women do it. Other conditions are specific. Some people have heart issues, some people have kidney issues, some people have various other issues. But this is something which every woman goes through in her life, right? Just like every woman starts with their menses, and then slowly, after around 40 or so, depending on your genetic constitution, and you, everybody experiences this. 20% experience mild symptoms, 60% experience a lot of symptoms, and a 20 may not experience any at all. But we do go through this, it's a transition, and we are already going through so many things in life. Some of us maybe are done with our basic, kids have grown up, and we want to actually start enjoying life, and then suddenly we are hit with these things, right? And so we want to do so many things, we want to go ahead, we want to enjoy this phase of our life also. So this transition towards menopause and post menopause is easily manageable, and all of us know it. We read a lot, we are bombarded a lot with what all to be done, but finally it comes down to our age old practices of yoga, where it helps. It has been proven to help very safely. It is not something which is to be done only at a certain age or only by a certain number of people. It is beneficial for women depending on your state, your condition. There are various, as most of you know, we give you various options. There are breathing practices. So it works not only physically, it works psychologically, it works emotionally, it works mentally to help us in our journey towards menopause, to make it, a smooth one. There will be a few speed bumps, but as far as possible, when you feel you're in control, you feel better, correct? So before we proceed, what happens? I mean, many of us know it, sort of, what is happening, because we know what happens during periods. But what happens during perimenopause or menopause, technically? I think the better person to explain all this is our Dr. Sanyogita Nimbalkar. So I hand it over to her.
Thank you, Ashwini. Good morning, good evening, everyone. So welcome again. That's a very nice story Ashwini introduced us to, and now we'll remember the symptoms also, and we'll remember how to probably sail through it also, just like them. So what is menopause? Let us have an interaction. What is menopause?
Technically, 12 months without period, that signifies, that says that you are in menopause. And the
Correct.
period, I think, leading up to it is your perimenopause.
Correct. Absolutely correct. So what Madhu is saying is like 12 months of no periods is a space where you have reached menopause. Okay. And then before that, the phase where you are experiencing all the changes in the body is your perimenopause. Any idea how much can this prolongate, the perimenopause phase?
Just
3
from
months.
personal experience,
10 years?
I'm sorry, can I speak?
Yeah, Harini.
Yeah. Just from personal experience, I've been experiencing it for like past 5 years, and I have not yet reached menopause. So
Same with me. More than
Absolutely.
5-6 years.
It can go along for a decade. Okay. So 10 years you can, it's a transition, like Ashwini said. So to reach menopause, your body is going to show a lot of changes, and that can take place for almost 10 years. All right. So just like puberty, you experienced all the changes in the body. That was your first menstruation cycle, right? So there was hair growth, there was hair in your armpits, so there was a skin issues, there were first your menstruation cycle, there was enlargement of the breast and stuff. Similarly, changes also happened during the perimenopause and the menopause. Okay. So what symptoms do you all face? Except for the 7 that Ashwini has mentioned.
I schedule.
Hot flashes and mood
Hot
swings.
flashes,
Mood swings. That's it.
swings.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anxiety. Okay. Aarti's typing. Anxiety.
And fatigue. Evening fatigue.
Migraines. Migraines.
Weight gain.
Again. Okay. So why?
Sanjogita, extreme fatigue and off late the vaginal dryness, what they
Yes.
call the atrophy, or and extreme fatigue, and of
That's
course
that.
all the other things everybody is saying.
Yes. Okay. So why does this happen? This is because estrogen is responsible. So during your puberty, the estrogen was introduced in the body, and then for a few years, it is at a good level. But once you start entering the perimenopause phase, so there is a graph that estrogen plays. Sometimes there is more secretion, sometimes there's less secretion. And estrogen is responsible for good skin. Estrogen is responsible for bone density, for vaginal health, for your good heart rate, for your cholesterol levels. Okay, so right from your skin to your reproductive, to your respiratory, to your other endocrine functions like thyroid and stuff. So estrogen plays a major role in your body. Now what happens is, with that graph that's going during your perimenopausal phase, the symptoms also vary. And estrogen will also show its effect on other hormones, like you have your adrenals, and that's where the hot flushes are coming. When there's an adrenal sludge, your hot flushes, your irritation, all that starts. Even on the mind, estrogen plays a role right from your cognitive functions to your mood swings to your irritations. Brain fog. Does anyone experience brain fog? Okay, so all that estrogen is responsible for. So what do you all do? What do we do?
Vent it out on the night. That's it.
I try to follow very healthy routine and meditation, and whenever possible yoga, workout. I try not to miss my workout.
Yeah. So there are also treatments. Okay, there are also hormone treatments where they either inject that estrogen, whatever is reduced in the body. They try to inject that estrogen, either a form of a patch or an injection or pills, etc. But what happens is, the body does not know how to respond to that external amount. The body knows how much it can, produce, or how much to produce, how much not to produce sometimes. But when it is coming from externally, the body does not know how much to take, how much to absorb. And that's how the other symptoms of that hormone start to surge, like weight gain. Okay. Then there are other symptoms like hair loss, then there'll be flatulence, there's been nausea, there'll be headaches because of that extra estrogen that you are taking. So for us, that's not the answer, right? Like Ashwini said, this is the time where you have finished all your responsibilities and where you want to kind of enjoy life. You're finished with your dabbas, with the kitchen work, the kids have grown, they've gone to their own life. But now is the time where you have to spend time for yourself, and taking hormones or taking pills is not the answer. So we have, like Jaya and Ashwini will be telling you all now, we have so many things that you all can do, whether it's your breath, whether it's your muscles, whether it's your exercise, that can help you to keep that balance in the body. So the estrogen, of course, is not going to again splur up, but again, the things that estrogen was doing in the body, there are that those things can be done in the body with other practices. Right? So that was it from my side. I'm handling it back to Ashwini.
Yeah, thank you. So she spoke about what most of you also addressed. So the reason women's health depends on hormonal health, okay, your endocrinal system health, which is basically what is responsible. I mean, men also have to have gone through it, but women have to go through it much more, from the onset also, and then towards the end also. But there is a solution. I mean, exercise, we all know exercise is good for all of us. We all know that by now. It's hammered into our head. But yoga specifically, because yoga is not just working on the muscles. Yoga is working on the organs also, on the tissues also. Yoga, many of the symptoms that we experience are also because of stress, internal stress and external stress. External stress because of whatever you're going through, and like Ashwini also said that, okay, I will take it out on my, it was a joke, but when you're going through all this, no one around you might understand. And now all of us are in nuclear families. People don't understand what you're going through. And even by mistake, you once mentioned that, oh, because of, I'm going through this because of menopause. Any little thing you do, oh, you and your menopause. Okay. And you're acting, you're very irritable, you're getting angry all the time, you're losing your temper, you're not this, you're not that. And it's very hard because you don't find someone who will empathize with you within the family. Okay, so that's when we reach out to each other, when we know we are not the only ones, but it's not spoken about. So in a yoga class, what happens is we not only address physical issues, but because of so much importance is given to breathing, okay, that actually helps reduce stress, as all of you will. I will just give you a brief experience of it. We know it also, many of you do our classes, we know that. But that helps reduce stress, and stress is a big factor in all these things that are happening, okay, in addition to the hormones, because finally the brain receives signals, brain sends signals, the glands are not functioning to its optimal level. That builds internal stress, in simple language, without taking names of which glands, which what, and things like that. That builds stress. So that's why a lot of focus is also given on longer exhalations, deep breathing, because even with simple thing like breathing, okay, when many times acidity in the body increases, when acidity in the blood increases, our bone density becomes less. So with longer exhalations, with kumbhaks, you can actually help increase the alkalinity in your body. And that actually balances out, and that helps reduce osteoporosis, which many experience after menopause, because estrogen is one of the things what keeps everything shining and healthy and happy and everything. But it's in our hands, okay, in our hands to how now take things ahead. So with yoga, it is all the bending, forward bending, side bending, back bending, all the postures. Now, Sayogita talked about the adrenal. Adrenal glands are responsible. They are the ones which are actually very fatigued because they try to produce your estrogen, because naturally the ovaries are not producing the estrogen. So they get fatigued a lot. And because they get fatigued a lot, you experience a lot of stress. And as a result of that, Arti, like you said, palpitations happen. Night sweats happen, hot flashes happen, mood swings happen, vaginal dryness happens, hair loss happens. This is very depressing, right? But it happens, but we can control it. Now, in addition to all these things, also because yoga and Ayurveda go together, we are all familiar with the Vata Pitta Kapha, right? So Jaya is going to talk about how each of us has a particular constitution and how that also affects what you go through. So yoga can address those issues based on your prakriti also. So Jaya, take it ahead.
Thanks, Ashwini. Okay, so basically, I'm going to briefly talk about the three doshas. I mean, we all know about Ayurveda. We live in a country where there's so much wealth of knowledge, not just with our physical practices, but also how they are all interconnected, right? And Ayurveda talks about the three doshas. We know about the three doshas, which is the Pitta, Kapha, Vata, right? So, though all of us, I mean, have all the three doshas in us, sometimes we're all born with a certain prakriti, which does not change over a time. But depending on the different conditions, different factors, it could be as simple as the weather, the age, or several other factors that happens at that period in your lifetime. A certain dosha is more prominent than the other. Sometimes it's a combination of two doshas as well, right? So, for example, if you take a pitta dosha, right, a person with a dominance of the pitta dosha, you generally experience a lot more of the hot flash, the night sweats, the mood swings, right? Because of the heat, the amount of heat that the body generates at that point. Okay, and also a person with the dominance of the pitta, they have a lot of energy and they want to do a lot. Okay, and this is the time during this perimenopause and menopause, irrespective of which has the dominance. We'll talk about kapha, which is slightly different. You need to slow down. Okay, and that is very important. And as women, especially at this particular age, we are all multitaskers. We are all wanting to do more than what our body is allowing us to because we are used to it. Now it is time to kind of dial it down slightly and give importance and listen to your own body. Right. So, so with this Pitta Prakriti, during our classes, we'll do, I mean, of course, the asana is a asana, right? You do it in a regular class as well. Here, the focus is slightly different, focusing more on, say, for example, if you are doing a side bend or a twist. So, that twisting asanas or side bending asanas, they dissipate a lot of heat from the liver, right? So, that reduces the heat. Suppose if you're doing a forward bend, we have you do a forward bend with support to work on your abdominal region to quieten that abdominal region while you're holding the pose, right? So that helps you because your mind is now quiet because in that forward bend you're supporting your head or your forehead on something. It helps to work on your nervous system and that helps. So once you can then immediately your glands are working differently to producing that certain hormones that help you with the symptoms of that night sweat or that irritability, right? Now when you talk about the kapha dosha, for a person with the kapha dosha, they are very gentle, they are very warm, right? They have the elements associated with the earth or water. And during this menopausal time, if that has more dominance, then when you talk about this, we talked about these symptoms about weight gain, water retention, that bloating, that sluggishness. So, all that generally, if a person with that kapha is more prominent in them, then you experience more compared to the other symptoms. So, because again of that sluggishness, the breathing can be restricted as well, right? And generally, if this is the dominance that you have, you need to be slightly pushed more. If you're feeling very lazy, if you're feeling very tired all the time, you need to slightly push your body to be more active. So here in that case, generally what we do is we have you do a lot of this chest opening asanas with help of the support. Again, at this point, you want to do the back bending asanas. But again, you don't want to exert a lot of energy where you're feeling tired after the asana. So in that case, we give you different positions using different props where you're able to maintain and you work on that chest opening. We work a lot with the pelvic region as well. Okay. Now moving on to about the Vata dosha. So Vata is the one that moves the Kapha and the Pitta, right? It's movement. So you're always on the move. You're very, very energetic. Okay. Generally, the characteristic of with the dominance of Vata is they look a little thinner, slimmer. They're very creative. They cannot stay in one place. Okay, that instability, like you want to be on the move, you always want to do something. So those are the general physical characteristics when it comes to a Vata dosha. And also about dryness in your skin. Someone talked about that as well as one of the conditions during this menopause and perimenopause. There is dryness of the skin. There is poor circulation in the body. Okay. So even in this perimenopausal stage, to work on that skin dryness, you need to have a lot of, besides the asanas and everything, there is hydration that is very important as well. And one other thing, and then the mobility of the joints, the strengthening of the joints. Okay. So the dryness reflects in your joint health as well, right? So there we talk about doing the asanas dynamically, where you kind of work with that lubrication of the particular joint, whichever one we are working on. We are working on the mobility of the joint, and also with the help of prop, we work on strengthening of the joint. In a regular class, if you're holding an asana, here again we will have you hold the asana, but focus more where you are not, dispelling your energy a lot, but at the same time work on strengthening of that joint as well. So your practice will focus more towards that lower abdomen. A dynamic, gentle movement of the practice is what we would be doing. And weight bearing. So when you do these practices, and these weight bearing practices will help you with your bone density, with your joint strength. So though the focus and the prakriti of every person is decided, and there is a combination always of different doshas as well, all of these would be addressed during the class depending on which symptom that we are going to take for that particular class. Okay, so all the practices help all of us. That does not mean that, okay, I'm very energetic, so I don't need to do this, or I'm feeling sluggish, I don't need to do that. So it's about bringing that balance even in your practice. And the class will focus on, if it is like a night sweats, or if it is about the acidity. Okay, we will teach you in that particular class that you can take forward for the rest of the week. It will be some simple, practice or even advice that you can remember through the rest of the week, and just bring that awareness more and more. The idea is during the class, it's all of us are going through those same symptoms, all of us. So it's kind of a group where you can discuss what's happening and helping each other with the practice and simple practices. Yeah. Ashwini, back to you.
Yeah, thank you. So another important thing is, see, we are all probably very aware, very active. We are doing either walking, trekking, jogging, some kind of exercise, strength training. But with yoga, what happens, especially when it's focused on menopause and perimenopause, we focus, like Jaya said, on pelvic issues. We also focus on, now we all experience that, like urine control. Like sometimes even when you cough or you sneeze, you might feel a trickle, because we lose control over those muscles also. So that's where the bandhas that we are using during our practices, they help actually keep, just like other muscles, you have to flex them, you have to strengthen them, you have to stretch them. Similarly, these muscles also have to be kept strong. So in order to keep that health of all your reproductive organs, the pelvic floor, we incorporate bandhas, mudras along with our pranayam. So that's why it becomes more of a wholesome practice. And it's not like, it's not like it's like a multivitamin. You take it, it helps. Certain people have certain issues. Okay, maybe they take something else for it. So when we talked about, practices for vata, pitta, kapha, that doesn't mean it will not help others. It is going to help the entire body, because your body is placed in various anatomical positions when you are in various asanas. And that helps actually compress, they decompress, stimulate, help better blood flow to all those organs, and maintaining the health of those organs. This is what is the speciality of when you focus on a particular. So when you have any other health issues, right, you go to a specialized doctor, physician. So this is like a specialized session. Along with that, you can also do your other, classes or, other batches with us, or even other exercises. But this is something which you should do at least once a week to focus on the issues that you are all going through, and will continue going through. And with longevity nowadays, even after menopause, women are living longer. So they have to keep themselves healthier for a longer amount of time. That's why we need to, maintain our yoga practice, and which are directed towards alleviating the symptoms of perimenopause and menopause. So I spoke about stress, right? So let's just do a little, all of you are familiar with it, just to experience it. Just sit straight. You can sit on chair, you can sit on the floor, anything. Just sit straight, close your eyes. And then for a whole minute, don't change your breathing at all. You're just going to breathe you're going to count your breaths in the 1 minute. Okay. So start. How many breaths you take in a minute? One inhalation, one exhalation makes one breath. Don't try to change it. Don't try to alter it. Do your simple, normal breathing. Just like you do the rest of the time of the day. Don't try to deepen the breath or do anything. Just your normal breathing pattern. And stop the counting. Now keep that count to yourself, because each of us today also, it might be something, tomorrow it'll be something slightly different. It doesn't always stay the same, right? Now, when we do certain practices, breathing practices, which help you prolong your breaths, then the number of breaths that you take in 1 minute also reduces, maybe significantly for some if you've been doing the practice, slightly for some. And that has an effect on your stress levels, which is one of the main contributors towards all the symptoms that we are facing during menopause and perimenopause. So make sure you're sitting comfortably. Okay, spotlight on Jaya. Okay. So can you just spotlight Jaya? So first we are going to I want you to lie down on your back. Lie down on your back. Keep your knees bent. So that your back is comfortable. Place your right palm on your belly. And now breathe out. By the first time only, gently push the belly in towards your back. And then just breathe in fully. Breathe out fully. Don't do any voluntary movement in the belly. Breathe in fully and observe how the belly will push the palm slightly away towards the ceiling. Don't actively move the palm. All you have to do is breathe in a complete breath as per your capacity and empty out as far as you can. Attention on the hand that is moving because of the belly movement. Do it for 2 more cycles. 1 more. And then stop the practice. Just observe your breath. Now slowly turn to your side and sit up. Basically, what you all did, many of you are familiar with this, is diaphragmatic breathing. Very simple, easily accessible. Anytime, whenever you are experiencing anything, sudden palpitations, suddenly you are, having a hot flash. If you do simple belly breathing, okay, for like a good 1 minute, 2 minute also, you'll experience that the symptom has gone down, the palpitations have reduced, the night sweats have reduced. Now, this is something we did it for hardly 4 to 6 cycles. But when you do this as a practice, okay, during your sessions or otherwise also, you train. Diaphragm is finally a muscle, and you're training that muscle just like you train other muscles. And that is having an effect on your nervous system. So finally, when your nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system, when it is active, that is when you experience the calmness. That is when all these other symptoms of hot flashes, night sweats, palpitations, mood swings, they reduce. Now let's do simple breathing, okay? Simple box breathing. So we're going to start, sit comfortably, make sure you're sitting straight, make sure your neck is in line with your spine, your shoulders are wide, your palms are placed on your thighs, whether you're sitting on the floor or on the chair. Now start breathing in, complete the inhalation, and breathe out, complete the exhalation. Find a rhythm to your breath. Once you find a rhythm in your mind, start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever counts you're reaching. Exhale for the same counts as your inhalation. So you're inhaling and exhaling at the same pace for the same counts for the same amount of time. We are trying to create a balance in our bodies, in our minds. So breathe in for whatever counts, breathe out for the same counts. Now from your next cycle, you'll breathe in for this whatever counts you had reached. You will hold the breath in for the same counts and breathe out for the same counts, all happening from both the nostrils. So if you're breathing in for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts. Now from your next cycle, you're going to inhale for whatever counts, hold for the same counts, exhale for the same counts, and try to hold the breath out for the same counts. If it's not possible, hold for whatever counts you can. Holding the breath out is sometimes challenging and takes practice. So don't force yourself. All these practices are to help you towards better health, better breathing. It's not a competition at all. There's no standard. So 1:1:1:1 ratio. So you're inhaling, you're holding, you're exhaling, you're holding, and you're continuing the cycle. It's like a box. Do one more cycle. And when you finish after the holding of the breath out, don't open your eyes, just stop this practice and observe your simple, normal breath. Don't force it back, don't alter it, don't open your eyes because that will disturb the state of your mind. This is another practice. Now you can open your eyes. This is another practice which helps, again, regulate. Okay, create a balance within your body, physically, mentally, with breath, also emotionally, psychologically, physiologically. Okay, we did it for a short amount of time, but sometimes in some of our sessions, we focus a lot on some of the breathing practices. Some sessions we have weight-bearing postures to strengthen the bones. Some practices where we need to have more restorative practices. That time we'll use a lot more of props to help you maintain the postures longer. Another practice for creating a balance, which all of us are familiar with, okay, but we are going to do it slightly differently today. You will close your right nostril with your right thumb. Let me spotlight you again, Jaya. You close your right nostril with your right thumb. Now, exhale out completely from the left nostril. Breathe in from the left nostril. Breathe out from the left nostril. Again, breathe in from the left nostril gently. Breathe out from the left nostril. One more time. Breathe in from the left nostril. And now release the hand and breathe out from both the nostrils. Be there with your eyes closed. Take a few normal breaths in between, recovery breaths. And this time now, close your left nostril. Breathe out completely from the right nostril. Breathe in from the right nostril. Breathe out from the right nostril. Breathe in from the right nostril. Breathe out from the right nostril. Breathe in from the right nostril. Release the hand and breathe out from both the nostrils. Be there with your eyes closed. This completes one round. And just observe the state of your mind, your breathing. There's a certain calmness in your mind. The breath is also better. The passages, the nasal passages are also likely to be more clearer. And that is another stress reducing, stress alleviating breathing practice. Now you can slowly open your eyes. Today was just like a glimpse into some of them, right? We would like you to experience it longer, but because of time constraints, we want to give you a few more things. So this is just some of them. In addition to these practices, we will also be including, many of us have sleep issues, okay? Insomnia happens a lot during, perimenopause and menopause. That also can be dealt with by stimulation of the vagus nerve. Many of us have heard now, suddenly vagus nerve is all over the place. Everyone has heard about it. So we have practices for stimulating that nerve, basically so that you feel again calm, you feel relaxed, you reduce your stress, and that helps you sleep better. Brahmari is something which common, but we use techniques like tapping, vagus nerve stimulation, chanting, mudras, bandhas, in addition or during our asanas also, to help it become a wholesome practice. Now, two of the postures which we want you to experience today, which are like the go-to postures, okay? Whether it's when you're having menstruation issues, PMS issues, or perimenopause or menopause. These two are like the Zalim, go-to postures, which you should do, not during your cycle, but otherwise. One is Supta Baddha Konasana, first one. So if you have, some of you may not have the props today. If you have the props, you will keep your bolster like Jaya has kept it, lengthwise. If you have a block, you can keep it at a tilt by keeping the block vertical and keeping the bolster like that, as you can see. And then you sit with your back facing the bolster. This is for those who have it. I'll also tell you what you can do. Even without it, you can do it. And then you recline on that bolster. You bring your feet, soles of your feet together. That is the Baddha Konasana.
We can't see
You can't
Jaya.
see Jaya. Okay, wait 1 second. Let me just spotlight her. I had spotlighted her. Sayo, can you do that, please? I don't know why I'm not.
Done.
Okay, thank you. So this is one way of doing it. Correct. Now, sit close to the bolster, hold the bolster, and then slowly lie down on it. Look at the legs. They are in, soles of your feet are touching each other, and keep your hands in a relaxed position by the side. This is one way of doing it. If you don't have a bolster, simply lie on your back without the bolster. And once you have laid down, then bring the soles of your feet towards each other. You can take support below your knees, below your thighs. If you feel that pressure, you can take cushions. So this is where we say that we encourage use of props, because this is one position which you can maintain, you should maintain for a longer amount of time. Now, once you have settled down, Sarika, I hope your neck is comfortable. Yeah, okay. Once you have settled down, now bring your attention immediately to your breathing. And practice the diaphragmatic breathing, the belly breathing that we did in the beginning when you were lying down on your back. You don't have to actively move the belly. It will happen automatically when you breathe in and out completely. You can count as you breathe in and do a equal ratio breathing. Now, this is one posture which is excellent for pelvic health, for regulating and balancing your menstrual cycle. Many of us experience long durations of, periods where you are menstruating for a long amount of time, more than the normal. It relieves symptoms of menopause because blood flows to the reproductive organs when you are in this position, and the glands which are balancing these hormonal functions. It relieves the tension in the abdomen, the uterus, the vagina. And once you feel calm, once you feel relaxed, it also helps with mood swings, anxiety, depression. Again, that stress is relieved. In this posture also, it helps with your cardiovascular issues, high BP, migraines. So just focus on equal ratio, samavritti pranayam, what you just did earlier, equal ratio, diaphragmatic breathing. Find a comfortable position so you don't have to feel discomfort. If you feel that, you should keep something below the knees or thighs, like a cushion. One more breath, be there. And now slowly bring your knees back towards each other. Take support and come up to a seated position. So this is one asana, which is like a remedy for most of the symptoms that we experience. So it is very recommended that you do it. And even otherwise, if you've traveled, if you've been on a plane for a long amount of time and you've been sitting, there is leg fatigue also, or if you've been on your feet for a long amount of time, if you perform this asana timed, 1 minute, 2 minutes, whatever your capacity is, that also will help relieve those symptoms. And the other go-to asana is Viparit Karni. So for that, we had asked you to keep your mats near a wall. If you don't have a wall, you can use a chair and you can keep your legs on a chair also. But otherwise, see what Jaya is doing. Take a blanket or something if you have one to elevate your hips slightly. And then sit sideways. Watch what she's doing. If you've never done it, if you've done it, most of you know it, get into it. Now, if some of you have back issues, lower back issues, you can always place a rolled blanket or something behind the knees or keep your knees slightly bent. Keep your legs up the wall. Right now, if you're menstruating, don't do it. You can be in Supta Baddha Konasana. This is not done during menstruation or if you have your periods on. Now find that position. Again, relax the shoulders, relax the arms. Close your eyes. And again, the moment you close your eyes, bring your attention to your breath. Notice how much focus is given on breathing. That is an important part of these practices. And that is an important practice which helps relieve stress. So again, breathe in and out at equal ratio, inhalation, exhalation. Today we won't do it, but many of you are familiar with Ujjayi breathing. That is also encouraged in our sessions, because Ujjayi breathing has an effect on the thyroid glands, the parathyroid glands, for their optimal functioning, an important gland for balancing the hormones in our body. So deep inhalation, complete inhalation, do it at your regular normal pace. The idea here is practicing to health, not for weight loss, not for any external, the way you look or something like that. It is to maintain optimal health. So samavritti, inhaling and exhaling at the same pace. This is a beneficial posture because here your legs are higher than your hips and your heart level. They give a much needed rest to your heart from pumping the blood towards and up from the feet. They give a good, almost like soaking all your reproductive organs, pelvic organs, with the flow of blood, reverse flow. They help better functioning as a result of that, of all your pelvic organs. This posture also helps in relieving backache, lower backache. Experience it just for a few moments. Focus on your breathing. When you're counting, when you're focusing on your breathing, you have switched off completely. This is your time. This is me time. It is time to give yourself this time towards health. Be there for 2 more breathing cycles. This posture, this asana, also helps relieve high BP. Many times people start suffering from hypertension during their perimenopausal or menopausal stages. So doing this posture as many times as you can in the week, at least once a day, will help relieve all these symptoms. Now, slowly bend both your knees. If your hips are on a height, you can slide down. Otherwise, turn to your side, any one side where you have space, and then come up to a seated position. Sit comfortably. Don't open your eyes. Keep your eyes closed. Don't disturb the state of your mind. And now, start counting your breaths. I'm timing you. Start counting. Your simple, normal breath, what you did in the beginning. There's a good chance your breathing is also slower. Don't change whatever your breathing rate is right now after all these practices. Just continue counting. 1 inhalation, 1 exhalation is 1 count. Stop the counting and slowly open your eyes. I'm not sure any of you experienced if it was slightly lesser, maybe a few counts lesser than your normal, what you did when you started. But with practice, our aim is to prolong, to make the breaths longer, the breathing cycles, the number of breaths that you take per minute lesser. And it happens with pranayama, it happens with asana practice. And that is, I'm sure all of you are also feeling a lot calmer. as a result of simple. I mean, we did it not even for 5 minutes. Okay. So that is the effect. And you carry that in the rest of the day when you practice, these, some of these practices. It helps you, it helps your posture, it helps your demeanor, it helps your mood. So you're dealing with things much better when you can manage and control your own symptoms. Okay. So before we conclude, we have some of the members who've been attending our menopause sessions because we've been conducting these for the past 3-4 years now. So Harini, we would like to share her experience. Yeah, can you spotlight her?
Yeah.
Hi, I've been doing this for a long time, and I used to wake up in the night completely drenched with sweat, and I used to have severe mood swings. But thanks to Daya, Ashwini, Sujata, and all, they helped me how to manage it with my breathing, and that is what I've been doing. And I can say right now I don't have night sweats at all. So these practices are really good. Though I've not been doing all the asanas since the break time, but I do follow the breathing. And they're very dedicated set of teachers. They have gone through all this and they want to help us, manage our stuff. So I would recommend it for anybody who's going through perimenopause and menopause.
Thank you, Harini. And I think, just for all of you to know, Harini travels a lot. So at least, some of these practices you can carry with you even when you're traveling for work or other things. If you don't have space for asanas, you can definitely do your breathing practices. So you're still doing something for yourself, something for the body, because sometimes you're in meetings, there's no time for something. But at the end of the day, you can do a Viparita Karani, you can do some breathing, and that actually takes, it goes a long way in helping our, symptoms. Thank you. What about Smita? Would you like to share something, please? She's been a very, very regular member with us and is in our menopause batch.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this menopause class actually. Like some of the symptoms that you shared, yeah, some of them I feel them now, like the hot flashes and things like that. So I was really waiting for class so that I can deal with all this. Like you mentioned, more than the physical, like weight gain and oh, you're looking tired and all those comments that you get to hear. I think it's more the state of mind also. You don't know why you're getting angry, why you're ending up, in tears all the time. Whatever somebody says, you just get affected so much. And I think this is needed for us to, I wouldn't say control all this, but yeah, to help with these symptoms so that we can, sort of lead a normal life. So yeah, of course, it goes without saying that whether for the menopause watch of any of the classes that we have, all of you teachers are just amazing. And after every class, I always feel that, oh my God, I'm so lucky that I found such amazing teachers. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions? Any, doubts, anything? No?
Uh,
Any-
hello.
Yeah, hello.
I think apart from the symptoms that we talked about, I think digestion is
Yes.
becoming a big problem. I mean, we are not even eating anywhere close to, a good, fabulous meal or anything. You are so worried because you're not hungry or you had a good meal, then for the next, I don't know how many hours, you're not even hungry because you feel so full with it. I mean, yeah, so that is and of course, like you said, the flatulence or your gas or your indigestion sensation, so all of that is definitely a big, I mean, all these together impact the quality of life that you are having. And I'm at least glad there is a forum where we can talk about this. I mean, this group of women, at least you can tell each other perhaps that, yeah, you're going through this. Otherwise, it's like what somebody just said, Smita just said, that why do you look so tired? Your photos are not looking good, I mean, and that is like a big spiral downward, You're
Yes.
like, I don't want to show my photo to anybody now. That sort of a thing. Nobody is going to select me for a bride or any catwalk or anything. So I don't even want to show my. But then this is what happens. What happens is that you're going inward. I mean, you're like closing on yourself instead of going out and reaching out. You tend to sort of, because you think the problems are so huge on your plate, you're not able to move out of it. So what happens is like you're very resigned to, okay, I don't want to do this. I don't want to participate. Let me avoid it. Instead of actually going and taking it head on or something. And these, for all the women here, I'm sure these are all things that you've never experienced with yourself before. This is not your personality at all, or this is not who you've been all the many years. And then suddenly there is this new person that you're dealing with in yourself, and it is an unbearable feeling, that you can't even say this outside. And
Yeah.
somehow the previous generation has no answers, ma'am. Absolutely. They come up with, no, it was nothing like this, or that, oh, we managed it. Oh, you have no choice. And, that is another thing. I
Yeah,
mean,
they
I can
didn't
see
lead.
literally when I
They
hear
didn't
it.
lead the lifestyles that we lead. They were
Correct.
not, most
Sorry.
of them were not, they didn't lead the lifestyles that we lead.
Yeah, and perhaps they
So,
had better family support systems. Maybe there were 2, 3 sister-in-laws around side who kept you on your toes. I don't know what helped. I don't
No,
know
no, it
what.
was, it definitely, what you said was point, I mean, absolutely correct. That's why this digestion also, the gut health is very important. And that's why
So,
we talked about acidity, alkalinity. Finally, it comes to balancing. Body becomes more and more acidic. And that's why that, then we start taking more alkaline foods. But along with that, like I said, pranayam practices, bahya kumbhaks, longer
yeah.
exhalations, they help improve the alkalinity of the body. Okay. And earlier, I mean, we also will do that probably when our daughters say something and we're like, what is this? Like we, for us, stress and going to therapists and all these are new things for us. We said, what stress? Go. We used to play, we used to do this, we used to do that. Same thing, But I think now we are more aware of it. We work also, we are not just at home, and we are not of the mindset where we have to bear everything silently. So we are vocal about it, which is good, because right now, today, you have seen everyone is agreeing with this. We are all experiencing it. It is a natural thing. It's nothing unnatural about it. Some experience certain things more, some experience certain things less, So it's
how long
about just maintaining your health. That's all. Yeah, Sarika?
how long can it go on? How many years? I mean, like, I thought once the period stop, I thought like, okay, I'm menopause, it's over, but it doesn't seem to be over. So,
No. See, because Kita, you want to say, address that?
Like how you are going to tackle it, Sarika.
sorry?
It will depend on how you are going to tackle.
Okay.
Yes. Even
No, but let me tell you from personal experience, Sarika, like after my menopause, now it's been like 8-10 years now. There are certain things, only once in a while I'll get a hot, once in a while I feel
Even
hot
now?
at night. Once in a while, that's very rare.
Yeah.
But otherwise, all the other symptoms have gone away. Everything. Maybe because I'm regularly practicing yoga and pranayam. Maybe that's what I'm attributing it to. I mean, I feel I'm definitely attributing it to that. But I'm not doing it for these symptoms. Now I'm doing it for general health. So I think if we continue, then they go away. We don't even realize it, because now we are a lot more conscious. I think Madhu, you said, but the earlier generation, they were not even conscious of these things. They were not doing anything for themselves also. They were just silently bearing with it and moving on. We need to, because like Sarika said, everyone is working. We are having very stressful lifestyles. The traffic, we are driving, we are dealing with kids issues, parents issues at this stage. Parents are older, kids are having teenage issues or adolescent issues. So many problems right now. So that's why we need to have that time to ourselves,
Yeah.
and take care of our health.
I wish
Just
I'd
one
met you on
question.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Is it okay to do it on the recording? Because I am in Europe right now. So it is at 1:30 for me. And sometimes, it gets the timing may not suit if I am stepping out or if there are chores around here. So is it okay to do it on recording, or would you say that attend the live class at least initially? I mean, what's your recommendation?
Initially, yes, it helps to attend a live class. If you're familiar, if you're completely new, definitely attend. If you're used to yoga practices, asanas, whatever, pranayam, if you're used to it and you can understand what is being taught, then with recording, yes, it helps. But initially, it will always be good if you can attend a live class.
Has the timing decided?
Now we are deciding on the timing there. The other thing is, you can do, say, like, this class is going to be once a week as of now, okay?
Yeah.
But recordings are available. So following, week or whatever, or you feel like doing it one more time because you don't remember what we've done. You can always, look at the recording in the next week and do it again. So that, I mean, if you feel, okay, I want to do it, it helped me, I felt good after this. Next class will be something different because we give a huge variety. So if you want to repeat it, you can always go to our recordings and do it. That is also another way. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, so the main thing is like initially, Madhu, the reason we want is the kind of props that we use during the class and how do you use that prop. So while you're doing it, if the prop is not placed correctly, it's easier for us to correct it for you. So at least the initial few classes we suggest that you do with the live class, and then you can follow it up once you're comfortable as to how the props are used differently. And once you're comfortable with that, then you can always do with the recording.